I was involuntarily committed almost 2 months ago now. It is currently Halloween, actually, Samhain, All Hallows Eve. It is October 31st, 2025. This was on the late evening, like around 10 p.m., give or take, of September 3rd into the morning of September 4th. I will try to keep this relatively brief, and then I'll make a longer version at some point. But yeah, in essence, the TLDR of it is that I am 31. I was actually 30 at the time. I've since had a birthday. But my biological parents just cannot let me go. They, to this day, are very financially controlling. They've been stringing me along for over a decade, with almost a decade and a half, with the promise that I will be able to get a degree at some point, which is kind of what I apparently need to afford. Because like the wage jobs that are available around here, and the rent around here, let's just say the math doesn't add up. It's not exactly a living wage, what I can find, at least so far. I think a degree will probably help with that, but degrees are not exactly free in America. This isn't Iceland. So, yeah, in essence, I'm kind of, for now at least, I'm forced by a bank account monitoring and controlling biological parents who are divorced, but I was staying with my biological mother at the time. In fact, I was actually at home alone, upstairs, locked in a room, in bed, recording a different audio thing on September 3rd, around 10 p.m. or so. When, there was a knock at the door. I had the Do Not Disturb sign up, which they regularly ignore, and then they wonder why I have concentration issues. Another big reason I'm not back in college yet, because I don't think those are going to get fixed while I'm living with these people. I'm trying so hard to move out, but, biological dad, who doesn't even live there, shows up out of the blue with no warning, 2 cops in uniform. I'm like, what's this about? So it turns out my biological mother told a magistrate or something. I keep hearing different versions, and maybe they're all true, I don't know. But she apparently told them, depending on the version, that I had done something or that I had threatened her. I kept hearing different versions of what the threat was. Or maybe she thinks I said all of them, or she's claiming I said all of them, I don't know. But they claimed that I'd issued a verbal threat, which I did not do. And there were 2 cops. One was a blonde lady, didn't get her name. The other one was a guy, Kurt, with a K, K-U-R-T, Kurt Thomas. So officer, I don't know his actual rank. I think officer's a general. He told me it's a general kind of term. But, Kurt Thomas, so I don't know if he's Corporal Thomas or a Sergeant, Captain, whatever, Thomas, Lieutenant Thomas, who knows. But Officer Kurt Thomas, Kurt with a K, Cary PD, he did not say to me, "You have been accused of threatening," that won't, as he called her, my mother, as I call her, more accurately, my biological mother, because it's important to distinguish between family and blood relatives. I'm not saying narcissists can't adopt, but anyway, he didn't say, "She said you said this." He didn't say, "You allegedly or purportedly said," no, he said, he very confidently stated something about statements I had made. Like that I had made, like it was fact, like he knew for a fact for sure. But yeah, he stated with great certainty, like it had been established or proven in some way, like you made some threats to your mother. I'm like, no, I didn't. Anyway, they took me to WakeMed, which is a hospital in Cary, North Carolina. There might be other campuses too, in Raleigh or Durham or something, but well, probably not Durham because Durham's not in Wake County, but it's in Durham County. But I've had issues with WakeMed in the past. They're very unprofessional. Their beds are extraordinarily uncomfortable. They're like these basically prison cots. I don't even know if prisoners should be having those, but yeah, in America, I guess it's okay to not treat people humanely if they're prisoners. Obviously, that means they're all guilty, but even if they are guilty, Anyway, I was held for probably almost half a day. So I got there like a little before midnight, and then they kept me until around dawn at WakeMed, and they were more unprofessional than ever, actually. That's probably my worst visit so far to WakeMed. They were gleefully, smugly unprofessional. Like, they were really immature, actually. It was weird just how squirrely and again, they were like smug and gleeful about how unprofessional they were getting away with being. And there were no cameras in the room I was in, and they took my phone away from me, and had me monitored the whole time. So which I now realize, like, oh, well, I bet they would not have liked to have been recorded while I was there, because then they might not have gotten away with it. But I also have an audio recording. Maybe I'll use that in a slightly longer version. Well, probably more than slightly, but it's a lot of information. But yeah, they deliberately deprived me of water. They basically made up their mind that I had threatened that woman. They didn't listen to... They performatively, kind of perfunctorily asked me what had happened, but they didn't... Like, I spoke for, like, I'm not even exaggerating, like, a few seconds. And they'd cut me off. And they kept saying, like, oh, well, the next person will listen to the kind of the fuller, more complete version of what happened. Like, we just need the elevator pitch, basically, in so many words is what they told me. So the next person would come in, and they'd do the same thing. And they'd say, the next person will listen to the whole version. So I'd try to tell them, and then they would do the same thing. It was like 7 or 8 people. I don't know. But finally, like just before daybreak, the doctor comes in, very, very chipper and upbeat. Like, he gleefully tells me, like, you're going to a psychiatric hospital. Like he's, like, rubbing his hands in glee about it. Like, there's something wrong with that guy. But, and I was just like, wait, what? Why? He's like, well, you threatened your mother. And I'm just like, okay, I don't remember if I said the first part of the following, but yeah, first of all, biological mother. But I definitely said the next part, which is, like, no, I didn't, and I already told you that. I'm pretty sure that last part, too, and I already told you that, because I did. I told him, like, 7 or 8 hours before he absconded for a while to do who knows what. I told you, no, I didn't. She said that I did. That doesn't mean I did. People are capable of lying. I don't lie. It's not that I'm incapable, it's that I value my credibility. But yes, so after all that, I'm taken to this place in the mountains called Haywood Regional Medical Center, a Duke Life Point hospital. I was kept there for a week, and they put me on meds that I had actually taken before, and which had been actively harmful to me. Lithium makes me very thirsty, and I have kind of a phobia, or, well, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's an irrational fear. I have a strong fear, as is, of thirst, and which is why them depriving me of water for almost 3 hours at WakeMed was also pretty bad. And it's my word against theirs, because they deprived me of my phone. Otherwise, I would have recorded them telling me, no, you can't have water. But to be honest, at Haywood, the techs and the nurses were actually, for the most part, pretty good. They were pretty pleasant, pretty professional. The doctor, on the other hand, this guy named David Wangerin-Lile, it's spelled Wangerin-Lile. He was terrible. I actually saw, like, he left the room at one point to go, to go do something. Like, he left his paper he'd been writing on his clipboard in my room there. I read some of the things he'd written about me, and it's just like, where did you even get some of it? Like, well, he was asking me about, I can't remember, my family history and all that, and then I just saw he'd written poor coping skills. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? It was kind of out of nowhere, out of the blue. I'm like, I didn't say anything about coping skills either way, and I don't really know where he would have gleaned that notion from. And I guess he just pulled it out of some region from whence, shall we say, an orifice sans solar illumination. But anyway, he was pretty bad and unprofessional, but I kind of had to rely on him to be able to get out of there, so I pretty much just put on a smiley face, told him whatever he seemed to want to hear, and it worked. Just like other times, it worked. So he prescribed me a bunch of different meds, including lithium, which I was on in high school, and which really royally screwed me over then, too. It makes me so thirsty. And yeah, I'm forcibly prescribed lithium anyway, which I did not consent to or ask for. But anyway, yeah, I got out on September 10th. But yeah, IVC'd, people. It's a form of psychiatric abuse. Maybe not in every single case. I don't know. I'm not an expert on the matter. In my case, this is definitely medical abuse. And yeah, WakeMed and Haywood, shame on both of you. And yeah, I guess that's about it for now. I'm fully intending still to make a longer version of this where I detail what happened. At some point, I would like to tell my entire life story, but a version of it at least. I have a memoir I've been working on. We'll see what happens. Chip away at. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I was IVC'd by abusive biological parents, and now I've got that on my medical record. So, functions, here we come.